So what this looks like is we have looked at research which has been done across Africa, research which has been done in the UK, Asia, America region, and all that, including USA. And we looked at, okay, where is Africa at the moment, specifically zooming into growth sectors, and music is one of them. Yeah. And through that, we made a decision to invest the bulk of our resources into music, fashion, and film. These are the three growth sectors within the creative industries currently in Africa, and Africa is a global player and a great influencer in these three industries. And when it comes to music and the other two, they all have ripple effects. So they impact on other sectors as well within the industry. And we work mostly to create the next pipeline of talent. We also support opportunity, so we are going to invest. Secondly, when you look at the music scene itself, just last year, according to the Global Music Report, Africa had the highest growth rate in terms of revenue coming through the recorded music platforms, which is captured statistically globally by about 34%. This is Africa, but when you look at sub-Saharan Africa, where we are, it's about 24%. And then when you look at where Africa is in terms of collaborations, there are two things that are happening. There is hyper-localization, which is Africa is consuming Africa, and this is true to even Zimbabwe. I spent the greater part of September in different festivals, platforms, and you can see it happening. So that's number one. The second one is globally, we are collaborating. So there is global people interested in collaborating with Africa, and Africa is at a point of choice at the moment. So even for us at the British Council, we made a decision. It's very intentional. Let's look beyond just connecting with the UK because of the choices that young people in Africa have at the moment, and we should be supporting and enabling that.
Thank you so much, Farai. Melissa, I'll come to you. If you could just give us an overview of some of the work you're doing at the embassy and how it connects with what we're doing here.
Hi, thank you. My name's Melissa Paulson. I'm an officer at the U.S. Embassy, and I'm happy to speak about the variety of exchange programs that we have specifically focused on music that help improve the trade craft of local musicians and encourage collaboration. Those come up at various times of the year, and they're always available on our Facebook and Twitter pages, X pages, so that they're open to everyone and inclusive. As an officer at the embassy, our careers mean we move around the world. So I have been everywhere from Sri Lanka to Uruguay to Cyprus to Mexico and now in Zimbabwe. Sometimes as a cultural affairs officer putting on such exchange programs. And here in Zimbabwe, it's not necessarily the focus of my that I used to do before servant. I used to run a big music festival with 300 musicians, 100 concerts in 17 days, multi-million-dollar music festival, and it was all about musical collaboration. So I see the power of that collaboration. I don't think it's just nice to do anymore. I think it's a necessity. And for discovery of the history of music as well as the networking. So if you have any questions specifically on collaboration, I have several examples I'd like to speak to.
We could actually start now with the questions. When you say collaboration is no longer, it's now a necessity, we need to collaborate. Can you just give us the time when you were running the festival, how much it is different from now, and why now it's a necessity than it used to be back in the day?
Well, technology has helped musicians significantly in the past 20 years. It used to be hard to break into the industry, expensive to break into the industry, to have the promotional materials that you need to break into the industry. And modern technology has taken the doors off, blown the doors off that. It's open to everyone. But that also means that you are competing with many more people. It's much more competitive than it used to be. It's a global market. And I think there no longer is the place to be afraid of having a double bill with another performer. I think that's an opportunity. I just went back to the music festival that I used to run and attended several concerts. I picked one because there was an emerging new musician, Kai Cater, that I had heard wonderful things about, and I paid quite a bit to attend that concert and take my friends there. And it was a double bill with a bluegrass duo that I had never heard of and wasn't interested in. And they blew me away. They were amazing. I didn't even know I liked newgrass music that much. And now that's opened a whole new world of music to me. And I follow them more than I did the original musician that I went to the concert to see. So don't be afraid to do a double bill or open for someone, because it introduces you to a new audience.
And I like that, because it leads us to the question that is pretty much on almost all of the artists when they start, right? Access to new markets. And when I'm hearing what both of you are echoing is that now is the time, especially for Africa, to access new markets. Farah, I'll come to you, because you were talking about not just the world accessing Africa, but Africa accessing the world. Can you give us a bit of insight on how that landscape is looking like at the moment, and what's our position, and how can we think as artists when we are approaching just accessing new markets globally?
Okay. All right. So what this looks like, it's really, like she said, collaboration is no longer a choice or something that we now do for fun. It's really critical, and this is where especially for music, because music has become so, it's really global, it's diverse and very inclusive in some spaces, but not all of them. And what this means is when we design our programs, we ensure that there is collaboration right from local level, region, and into international. And there is so much appetite when I look at the UK market, where we have more connections and have had years of experience before we go to other continents, there's so much appetite for young artists in the UK to have a variety and to connect with their peers across Africa, and to be able to experiment with the new sounds that are coming from Africa. And we have a wave, or we have for the longest thought of, okay, there is Afrobeat and there's Amapiano, but there's actually so much more music genres that are coming up. We have the one coming, which has just come out from Tanzania, Singeli, and already there's a huge appetite. It has hit the UK, and there is interest for collaboration. So when we look at collaboration, because it's become so competitive because of the tech space that we are operating in, our role and the way that we support is to support new artists, or even artists in general, to cut through the noise. And we have collaborations that do not just have to be 1 + 1 equals to 2. 1 + 1 should be equals to 4.6 or equals to 10. Because whom we are connecting with you in the other market, there are artists, there's also producers, there are also distributors. There are a lot of people we're connecting you to when you get into the UK. And when you take example of our music program, Scripts and Bars, that's exactly what happened. And we managed to connect more than 5 artists with 5 peers to do a collaboration and produce an EP track, where now you can see that even when we hosted our UK partners who came here, they had so much appetite, interest to continue these collaborations, because this is what the UK market needs. And also remember, UK is also saturated in its music industry, and they are looking at how do they sustain their growth, how do they get new energy, new ideas into it, and where's the best place to look at? It's Africa.
Amazing you say that. One of the reasons why Afrobeats blew up the way it blew up is because Nigerian artists started to collaborate with other Africans who were in the diaspora, specifically the UK, people like Fuse, ODG. And when they started to do that, there started to be a back and forth between the diaspora and just the UK market. But what people in the diaspora were doing, who were Nigerians, they were also passing on this music to their peers who were non-Nigerian or non-African. And that's what made Afrobeats to blow up the way it did. UK was the epicenter of that, made Afrobeats become as global as it became, because they started to consume that music. Now, Melissa, I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak about some of the programs that are available for artists, because it would be such a waste to have you here and you don't take us through some of the programs that are available for artists to connect and be part of some of these amazing connections, collaborations globally.
So I would encourage you to join, again, our Facebook and X page, because when these opportunities become available, we advertise them in advance. The thing is, they do not happen annually necessarily. These are international programs that we bring around the world, and they're not here every year. So it depends. I can't tell you what will be available next year, but I can tell you what we've done recently. Next Level Hip Hop Academy. Did anybody here attend that?
Yep.
Fantastic. So that fuses elements of artistic collaboration and social engagement to address conflict transformation and advance entrepreneurship. So in July, Next Level visited, and they worked with local organizations, and 80 Zimbabwean MCs, DJs, beat makers, and dancers participated. And they had an entrepreneurship day that focused on opportunities for participants to interface with the American music industry and professionals to discuss intellectual property and the business of music. That academy created opportunities to record with leading American hip-hop artist D1 and feature his music video of his new album Loaded, which debuted at number 2 on the global hip-hop charts. I understand that currently the Zimbabwean hip-hop artist Asaf, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm saying it more Arab, sorry. And beatmaker Lemzy Beats are currently in the U.S. participating in the residency program, where they'll get new knowledge and connect with leading artists and improve their craft. And I can say we can always improve our craft. That's an endless, that's never ending. Another program that the U.S. Embassy puts on is Arts Envoy. We just had Aaron Myers here. Did anybody meet the jazz musician Aaron Myers and his quartet in September? Fantastic. So they were featured at the Oliver Mutukudzi International Festival in September, and they discussed cultural governance with the National Arts Council, and they had music production workshops. And they brought a lot of knowledge with them. It was a variety. That quartet doesn't perform together all the time, as you know. Many jazz musicians...
session artists.
Yeah, they're session artists for different tours. So they were from all over the United States, actually. One from Nashville, who was a full-time musician. One who's a full-time professor who performs on the side. So there's all different ways to make a living at doing this. In addition, at the festival, the Jacaranda Music Festival last year, we brought Birkhead to perform, if anybody was able to see them last year at the music festival. And that program was fantastic. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get another band for this year. So that's why I say stay up on our social media, because that's where you'll be able to keep track of everything that's current. And then the other exchange program, One Beat Music. It sends Zimbabwean musicians ages 19 to 35